Boom. Okay. Yeah, there it goes. It's catching. So let me just double check. I tried to tag you on the post, but I couldn't. But I'll try again on this video. All right,
Okay.
let's see here. No? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so there's one, and let's check on YouTube. Make sure it's on. I always like to double check everything. Give people time to come in. Okay, there you are.
Yeah.
Zac Shure. All right, we've got a new friend in the house, everybody. Welcome to the first of two shows today. Uh, this gentleman, this brother came through a friend, a mutual friend, said he was doing really good work. He's a special brother from, I remember now her telling me about this. And then I went to your page and I saw your energy and got a little glimpse of your work. And then you were telling me we couldn't do anything last week because you had something you were doing this past weekend, which I think speaks to how active you are and, you know, speaks to the work that you're doing. But Ben, thanks for coming in and sharing space with us on Soulogy and honoring us with your presence.
Wow. Thank you very much, Todd.
Mm.
So much. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here and to share with you.
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you, our famous question here is, when did you wake up, or have you always been this weird?
Interesting. Um, Probably always been, as you say, this weird, but consciously awake and aware of what I've been doing has been in different stages. So 2017, when I
Mm.
started consciously helping people with healing modalities.
Okay.
And in 2021, when the bigger one happened, the Kundalini. So that's when I reconnected to my source channel consciously, and all the light languages and things like that started to
Oh,
come
wow.
forward. So uh,
So in 2017, you got a little jolt and you started to work with people as a practitioner.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And what kind of work were you doing then?
So it was basically very similar to, or basically it was pranic healing.
Okay.
So
So breath work.
I was pranic healing is similar to Reiki.
Oh,
So
okay.
just doing like body healing, energy healing for
Okay.
the body systems.
Now at the 2017 incident, was that something that you felt you know, being directed to facilitate people in that manner, was that something you feel like came from your soul or something that
Oh,
you
most definitely. I didn't have a choice. It was
okay, I got you.
I was backpacking around the Caribbean, and
Okay.
everyone I was doing Workaway, which is basically a voluntary program, and every person I stayed with, they were like they practiced different modalities, and I hadn't heard of them, but they saw what I could do, and then I started
Wow.
doing doing things naturally. So
So you
uh,
stayed with healers and they recognized you were a healer.
that's basically it. Yeah, and I didn't realize I didn't have this vocabulary, so I was just a bit
Uh,
in the human, going with the flow kind of thing, spontaneous, but it was all divinely guided.
hmm. And in 2021, you had a Kundalini. And
Oh, yeah.
what what was that like in terms of the difference of before and after?
It was very intense. I continued working with someone I met in Nicaragua in like 2019, where I did a full kind of course type thing. I had back then I had six people come to see me a day for a month, and I helped them all using pranic healing. And then in 21 I reconnect or 2020 reconnected with her online, and she gave me a few more activations, and then I met someone working. I used to teach English as a second language in Spain, and this person I believe to be a twin flame, but she was a karmic mate and activated kind of the dark night of the soul. And I was going through a whole purging process
Yeah.
of letting go of everything. And what noticed for me, because in this incarnation I have autism, so I wasn't always aware of the belief systems I had, and that made it harder to let them go because I didn't know they were there.
Okay.
And many different things after that started the transformation and then into the Kundalini. I had interesting experiences. I saw like in the I guess my clairvoyance kicked in really hard, but it didn't seem like clairvoyance. I saw portals opening. I was dragged into a portal. Um, Woke up levitating once, and I could tell when I was going to be in a deja vu, or if I will be in a deja vu in a deja vu. And this went on for like a month and a half. So one
Wow.
of my friends, she was like a big support. She said to me, "So what Ben are you today? You're number one, two, three, four, five, or six?" And I was able to tell what one I was. Everyone else, they weren't changing. It was my version of me that was changing every day. And when I started to learn the lessons,
Uh-huh.
that calmed down a lot. So I started doing different things. My lessons were self-respect,
Right.
kind of thing, self-love, this kind of thing. So it was rather intense. They escalated the awakening process for me because I believed it was actually delayed in accordance to my soul contract. There was a bit of
Are you talking about the karmic friend, the karmic partner?
well, she came in to basically activate this.
Right.
A lot of people go into an awakening through a traumatic experience. So it was kind of a traumatic experience, and all of this happened
Right.
very quickly.
Yeah.
Lots of different things happening.
Yeah, that seems to be the way it works.
Oh yeah,
This is interesting though, for two reasons. One is I I'm just picking up like, having autism
yeah.
might it seems like from what I'm picking up, and I could be wrong, but it kind of gives you um, um, how would I say this? Like a unique perspective or a unique sensitivity of
Oh
some sort, as opposed to someone who doesn't have it, like say like me.
yeah.
I could just pick that up by the way you were explaining it, and then go ahead, go ahead.
You're yeah. Basically, they're just saying it was almost like for people that are or have neurodivergence is a boost.
Yeah,
Um, Ready on this line, and for things like I woke up levitating a couple of times, and that was like, yeah, that seems quite normal to me.
right.
But for someone who's perhaps uh, doesn't have autism in this lifetime, that might be a bit strange to them. But for me, it was like,
Yeah,
yeah, that feels right.
right.
Lots of the experiences that I experienced were unorthodox, they're saying, and that's including into the spiritual community as well. I've had many different things, but I'm also lucky because of the channel I have. It's almost like I'm always linked into what people call the Akashic records. So it's like, yo, I've done that before, so that's okay. So I was like, I just link into those memories of knowing that it's perfectly fine.
Wow, this is going to be good. So
Yeah,
I want to go back to the friend that said, "Are you the one, the two, the three, the four, five, or the six?" And you were also talking at the same time about um, knowing when a deja vu was going to happen. Can you
yeah.
kind of just take me through those two things? The one through the six thing, my question would revolve around what are the differences, or was that, you know what I mean?
Okay, so one of the experiences I had was how I was able to choose what version I was going to be. So I saw myself sitting in front of the TV, and on the TV, it was split into four, and on each corner was a different me. And the perspective as I saw myself behind the who's sitting on the sofa in front of the TV. So I was choosing what one to be, kind of
Mm,
thing. And this friend I mentioned, I actually met her a few years before, also working in a English immersion camp in Spain, and we used to call each other soul siblings, which is actually true because when I came into my full awareness, turns out we're soulmates.
okay.
So And she was a great support. She's very good at being human and also being more aware of other things. So she really helped me because I was explaining everything that I was experiencing, and then she put it into more humanistic terms.
Mm.
So I was aware, like, okay, I centered myself. I know what's so. For example, today I would say tomorrow I know what's going to happen because I've done it before. So I used to get glimpses if I'm going to be a deja vu or not, and then if I'm going to be a deja vu in a deja vu in a deja vu in a deja vu kind of thing, and how long that particular loop will happen. And also, they want me to share that they talk a lot about spirals or cycles. So I was able to link in when there was a lesson coming and when it will come back. Because when things happen, rather than reacting, the idea is to pause and act a different way with the
Yes.
harmony. So I was linking into different cycles, and I could know that cycle will repeat in 7 days. But when there was a cycle that was going to repeat in the next 9 years, I would get like a message that's going to come in the next month or so. And sometimes with the longer cycles, I didn't act the way I wanted, and the lesson there is actually to let go of the regret, kind of thing as well. Um,
Well,
so yeah,
that's powerful. Yeah. I mean, that's what we deal with, right? I mean,
yeah,
I just dealt with it. I think maybe a lot of people did, given that it's 9/11. Just
mm,
the energetic imprint.
yeah.
People know this is a powerful day or period. But yeah, it's the same thing. I don't know. It feels like everything is converging
Mm,
to, I mean, everything's a choice, right?
yeah.
But it seems like the template of it is converging to like a single choice, you might say. And I don't know, that's where I ended up today. I was like, because it does, it's like when you have a conflict, it
Mm,
doesn't matter who starts it. Like we're in an energy now that it's speaking more to that self-respect and self-love you're talking about, where we just don't participate.
mm,
It just, it's like food you don't want to eat. You just don't go there. But I think what you're describing, and somebody mentioned it here, letting go of regret is powerful. Yeah. So the regret, the blame, the story, everything but love,
mm.
basically. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but that's what I'm picking up from you.
That's it.
And I like the way that you kind of go into the deja vu thing because and the ability to see the cycles, the spiral, right? The loops or whatever. That sounds like it's a pretty cool characteristic to have. I was in June 1st, I was shown some cycles for the first time, to I guess to a degree that might be something along the lines. I don't know if it'll happen to me again, but it was a huge download for like 2.5, 3 days, and it was years. It was 14 years, 11 years, 10 years, 7 years, 5 years, 4 years, and 2 years, and they were showing me how they were all kind of gonna meet
Mhm.
ultimately. But so that's pretty cool. So you still carry that with you. You're able to
Yeah.
see the cycles, the loops when they're coming up, what the lesson's going to be.
Mm, yes, I can. I
Mm,
do when I allow myself. Yeah.
mm,
Is if I breathe and ask, I can recognize what's happening. Um, there are less cycles at the moment that I'm currently working through, they say. So I can recognize them. And they're more of the longer term cycles at the
yeah,
moment. If you don't mind going back to when you mentioned your experience, they're saying the 7 year one,
yeah.
it's a very powerful one for you.
Uh, let me get on track there. Yes, yes, and that would be, yeah. Your team's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that would be exactly right. because mine started in 2011. Well, that was when my
Yeah.
reawakening was,
Hmm.
and mine was just like, very abrupt like yours and so on. But yeah, so when they were showing me the patterns, they were all beginning on in 2011, right? So this would be perfect because it was 2018 was a big thing, and then 2025 another big thing. But they also showed me on some of them going backwards, like
Yeah.
like they showed me. I think it was a 10 or a 12 year. I can't remember if it was a 12 year, but or what it was. But it took me right back to 6 years old. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, it was. And so they were just showing me how what was happening at the time, what changes I went through. And then the other thing that happened on the 1st of June through these patterns or cycles, they showed, and I never have been one to say, oh, I've had a walk in, I mean, I don't get caught up in semantics. I've talked to a lot of people on this show over the years, but I was shown you had a walk in here at 19, you had a walk in here. Uh, like there was one, I believe it was every, yeah,
Hmm.
I think it was about every 9 or 10 years. So,
Interesting.
so it, and when I say walking, it just more of my soul came in, or something, because, and then it showed me, might be what you're talking about, I guess, I don't know, because it showed me, okay, and like I had one June 1st, you had a
Mhm.
walk in, you just expanded, and so if
Yeah.
you go back and look at all the other walk-ins, what did you go into from that point? So it was like, oh, I needed that because I was going to be going through more.
Yeah.
Not necessarily bad, but it was gonna take more of my wherewithal to handle the situation and maximize the potential. Thank you for helping me work that out.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I have some light language to share.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. And just only allowing those that emit and radiate and emanate their own 100% divine source, love, and light to work with us. Sukupanadaha. Just taking a few deep breaths. Kukanataka kia tahato sono. Te nyananataha nehe kia kangana. Donana kakikiaka. Te tia tahato sono. Doniamba. Tembiambana hanenihi. Tombana hakandanari. Tombani kiakadu. Donanaka. Dani kiatadu. Kiakanganatahatu. Suna. Te tia kaha. Te tia tohakunganai. 811744598772. Aga. Denium Mahakumba. Sona Kakete. Te tia tohoku. So kua. So skyla played ki kia. Koko kua kaka. Te kia kaki kia. Kakara. Dun. Dananade. In accordance to divine cosmic sovereign law. Sakate. Te kia tohoko. Kakana tohoko soi. So,
Mm, thank you.
hmm.
Those those numbers came out. Does that have any meaning?
Source code.
Source code.
Um,
So you
different codexes for
right.
different blueprints and blueprints for galaxies and etc. Also to help release
Yeah.
anything it's not
Yeah.
meant to be. It's not love, basically.
So yeah, there's a lot of that going on, isn't there? You're
Yeah.
releasing every. What did she say here? Hope he talks more about deja vu experiences and choosing itself. But I think that's what it is, isn't it? These things that are the storylines and the things that we're, what would you say, processing, releasing, bringing into alignment, discharging, charge. Pun
Hmm.
intended with the charge thing. Not having a charge, being in neutrality is really, yeah, choosing ourselves. And to me there's a blend too of doing your best to act in integrity, and
Mm.
keep your intention pure. Because one of the things that's really jumped out this year for me is that this is a life review and form. And when you talk to people that have near deaths, and they have a life review, many of them have life reviews, they can feel what it what they made the other person feel like. From their thoughts and their words and their
Yeah,
actions, they can actually feel. But to me, and that's, I've understood that, but to me, there's one difference now because it doesn't matter what your intentions were. Somebody has a different set of glasses on, or different traumas, or different conditioning. I might say boo, and it's a tornado to them, or whatever. So, but that self-respect thing, I think it becomes a mutual,
yeah,
um, and unilateral. Like you change it in you, and you know, if I let go of, what, blame or regret, or whatever it is, my heart's going to lighten up, and I'm going to be able to be more compassionate for other people. That's kind of how it works. That's the way it feels.
yeah. And we act, it's almost helping others to show that it's safe as
Yeah,
well to let go. And there's a lot of people here on earth that are on the journey, and sometimes they ask, how can they help more? But the one of the top ways, probably the top way, is actually with more self-love, because that
yeah,
acts, it's incredibly powerful. For those that are clairvoyant and can see, they can remote view the dimensions and things and everything. It's literally a ripple effect. This love spreads. When one person is shining,
yeah,
another 10 will shine. And
yeah,
then it was just spread, 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 spread. It's amazing. The other day, I was just in a park doing a donation based healing, and someone came, and it was quite a magnificent experience. This person released a lot, had a nice emotional release, and it was a bit I was crying. I was saying that was so powerful, because a lot of people came by, and it gave them, in a sense, it's safe to cry, it's safe
yeah,
to be vulnerable. And that was one of the lessons for the people that were there, that were receiving, is that it's safe to be vulnerable
yeah.
and to let go and experience.
Yes. I mean, that's what I'm saying about this convergence. It's like a lot of the doors are closing. They're not,
Mm.
we've moved past them, like
Mm.
ultimately, theoretically, um, if we're in 5D 100% of the time, there won't be a word called forgiveness. There won't be healing. Well, we're in a whole different, atmosphere at that point. But along the way, yeah, um, what you're saying is very true, and I've seen it for years with Soulogy. Um, One is when somebody's shining, it does have a ripple effect. You can see it. I've watched it happen in different ways. And then the other thing that you're saying too is that vulnerability is the path to transparency, because truly, when someone's really shining, they are being transparent. And when somebody's really crying, they are being transparent. And that's a powerful, powerful thing. That to me overrides all the bullshit and everything. The stories out there and the governments and this. It's that. Do you feel like that the individual? We know that the collective transformation is made up of individual transformations. You speak to this, and um, do you feel like that the individual, thereby the collective transformation based on that individuality, is becoming so strong that it will drown out the voices, so to speak, of these issues and things that we've been overly focused on and programmed by, etc.? Do you feel like that's possible? Do you see this happening?
Yes, and also got something in love language, light language, to come forward as well.
Please.
And for those that are listening, you can go into your heart and allow it to feel, because they'll be answering in different words. Kuona kokuakaka. ki kako toho ko kakakea to kakataka te tia kataha tone katake tia toho kukinni ako kundo to kaka te he ke kia suna mikia boho panda kate te tia toho kokana te kia takaha tuku to kakeana. So
Mm,
basically, in short, yes, more and more are unknowingly going through experiences that they may not put words to, which one might say is an awakening or something, and they're just naturally becoming kinder. Um, the the things that's happening in the world, the unpleasant things at the moment, the distortion. A while ago, I got a message about things that were going to happen, and they did say the next 5 to 7 years we're going to be a bit how they are at the moment. But it is shifting, and more are shining. So
mm,
yes, it is gonna
mm,
we're gonna experience more transformation, and there are more teams of light in the physical doing other work to help to integrate the energy that is being uh, transformed. More the light coming in, so more pillars of light are coming in, for example, and the energy is being more stable as well. We're also experiencing more solar flares,
mm.
band recorded, we could say. We've had a few billion years ago, there's a lot of solar activity, more than now, quite a bit more. But
Right.
since it's being recorded by humans, yes, in this cycle, we're experiencing more for a reason, because more and more are going through spontaneous awakenings, experiences to help them open up more. More curiosity is coming in for people to try new things, and that just spreads. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're
Wow.
saying we're in the right direction, even though it
Yeah.
seems shaky.
And so, um, 5 to 7 years, huh?
Yeah, that was in 2021 when that came through.
Oh, that was 2021. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know like starting this show in 2017, and I can remember people coming on um those first 2 or 3 years, let's say pre-COVID, and
Mhm.
they were talking about like 2075 and 2050, 2030, and I'm like, man, I'm not waiting that long. I know we can. And I made the joke, but as time went on, they did start pulling them in. It wasn't because
Mm,
I was convincing anybody. It was just like, hey, this is, and now it really feels. And I've seen 3 or 4 people on the show here. One real close friend of mine that transitioned. A lot like has kind of the same frequency that you have, and they were all pointing to 2026 um, and 2027 kind of being the rollout, you know,
mm,
where we really start to see, and people, everyone gets it. Everyone gets the memo. And it's like, okay, there's no more. I mean, that alone, just people accepting like your life, my life. We've all had the stories where our families thought we were crazy. Now, many of us, our families accept us now. And so just having that a bigger group consciousness, more individuals just going, yeah, I believe there's star seeds, and I believe this, and I believe that, and I'm open to this alternative healing or whatever. That itself will supersede things that we might think are typical now will become atypical very quick.
definitely. Yeah.
So you're pretty much tapped in to the Akashic like a switchboard operator.
Yeah,
And
basically. So
yeah,
how I work, they basically so a source channel literally
okay.
means directly plugged into source.
Okay.
And when I'm working with others, so it's the energies, if I'm working with someone, it's their soul is connected to my oversoul. And if any other energies from source, depending on when that soul came in, the term old soul, ancient soul, new soul, all of this, because consciousness is ever expanding. So if they're pre-split or after pre-split kind of thing,
Say
um,
say that again. Pre what?
pre-split
Okay. So
or before the consciousness decided to allow more individual consciousness experiences kind of
right,
thing.
right, right, right.
So
So
that's where the energy would come from when I'm helping others, because
comes
it's not
from
my energy.
it comes from the pre-split. It comes from
It
the
got,
original
well, yeah,
source.
that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. That's how I see it too. Like
Hmm.
you had the one and then it split.
Yeah.
That's the way I always see it. Like in I call it the mother and it
Yeah.
splits. And then the mother says, well, yeah, I'd like to have a partner. And then
Hmm.
that's when the whole thing starts because the one that creates has to, you know, love unconditionally, accept unconditionally. You know what I mean? So the whole
Yeah.
experience of life starts to happen and then it splits again, splits again. And speaking of that, somebody asked this question earlier. I was going to see if you could speak to it.
Mm.
They said something about um, what role will what role will twin flames have in the world?
Mm.
Now that's a pretty big connotation
So,
these days. You know what I mean? Um,
um, I have information about twin flame that's not really spoken about.
oh, good.
Um, so the reason why I thought I met my twin that activated my awakening is because online everything that was listed under a twin flame was happening in my experience, the whole chaser and things like this. But
Right.
this is actually what a karmic mate is, or karmic twin, people will call it. And when a twin, like I actually met my twin many lifetimes ago, and my twin comes and joins me in my vessel every now and again, probably once or twice a month if I called it in. So many of us have met the twin.
Yeah.
For karmic, or a karmic twin, as we call them, like the false twins, they play a role in help to activate more of an awakening kind of thing. You could say that. When very few beings on Earth, they're saying around 300 to 500,000 will meet a twin, their natural twin. And when they do, it's full coherence. It's just typical unconditional love,
Mm,
just flowing together, drama free,
right.
just being,
Right.
and creative, being powerful in what you do. But it was all love. So
Yeah.
they're saying there might be uh, generate and I don't do so the generator and the magnif the manifestors will be good. There's a couple of those that will be joining together in the human design chart kind of thing. That's what they're saying. Um, they're the twins that will be coming in this physical that will help with
That would make
future.
sense.
Yeah, with the
Yeah, that
future
makes sense. That
20
you'd
to
have
30
the
years, more or less, they'll be coming up like making big waves because there's many phases. We're going through very good changes.
what's your timeline on that? Like 10 years, 15 years?
So these
The
ones,
different phases.
these the phases. Oh, um, hmm, 15. They're
Yeah.
saying 15 to 30 years, depending, because timelines.
Right.
Everything everything that you can imagine, I believe, is happening right now, and it's about selecting a preferred experience.
Yeah.
We go through that again, more unconditional love, we move on to different line kind of thing, or a different version. So in this current reality that we're speaking on, 15 to 30 years for a phase, but they can actually be what feels like multiple phases in one phase. So it depends how, because here on Earth, there's a lot of people like to go into label and to
Yeah.
divide things. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. I mean, even talking about twins is a very complicated, because
mm,
it's been, I guess, really tainted, like so many
yeah.
things, so many different connotations.
Mhm.
And then the thing about time, it's strange in a way to talk about time.
Mm,
Like I was saying, I don't want to wait that long, but if you really think about it, the way things have been going, the next 15 years isn't going to feel like, when I was 15 going to 30. Like time's doing some weird stuff. It's, sometimes it moves real slow and sometimes it moves real fast. I mean, I saw this article the other day. Uh, it was Tibetan monks that had, I think it was like a 10,000-year old ritual of how they live their day. They
mm,
do all these different rituals and ceremonies and so on. And they had found that they were completing that 24 hours in 16 now.
yeah.
So, you know what I mean? And I saw another example of it. I forget what that group was, but similar situation. People that were of the land had noticed, I think it might have been Eskimos. They were noticing that something was changing in terms of time. It's not the same time. It's not, the clock doesn't work the same,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Well, after a transition or a shift, they say it's suggested to do a calibration of your quantum time perspective. So sometimes one's perspective, so in the morning, for example, if you need to be somewhere in a few minutes, time just seems to go fast. So I would say this is an external form of distortion.
Mm,
So if this was happening to me, I would go into the quantum. So I just go in light language, set the intention, and sort of like realign or optimize my perception of time. And then things will go back to a preferred way, kind of
right,
thing.
right.
And sometimes we can actually ask if we need more time to get somewhere. If we ask, this is the power we have. If we ask, you'll find that we actually get to this space in time when we didn't have enough time to get there, but we've managed to do it.
Far
We have
out.
asking is
Yeah,
very powerful. And
yeah,
especially if people are listening here, you're obviously aware. So ask
right.
and be, allow yourself to be surprised or not surprised.
That's it's funny because as time's gone on, especially this year's been, well, this was the 7-year thing, right? This year was like, that's another thing they showed me. They showed me like the 2012, what was it? December 21st, 2012 until December 21st, 2024, that 12-year period. They said, one of the things they told me was, they said, the things that y'all came to do, you actually did in those
Yes.
12 years through the distortion. And now you've entered another phase where the energy is working with you. It's not like we're swimming upstream anymore. But what I was going to say is, this year I've noticed, I call them physical synchronicities because it's beyond the numbers. It's beyond coincidence or chance occurrences. It's more like patterns. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've noticed that the sequential aspect of that doing the show. And it was probably 10 days ago, maybe a week ago, somebody came on here and they were telling the story about how they were running late, you know. Now, I don't know if they used the exact words you did, but I have a feeling they used the same process. And they asked, I guess is what I'm saying. And they got there on time. It was funny. And then our friend Nikki Hammond came on the other day after he hadn't been on for like 5 or 6 years. And he is he's an elder. I think he's probably in his 80s. And his partner, his life partner, transitioned. I think at the first of the year. So he's gone through a lot, right? And he's very connected. He's very still connected to her. She was popping in while we were having the show. But one of the things that he said, the number one thing he said on the show that we spent that hour and a half together, he said that his team is telling him, like, because he said to, because he actually went into the hospital before she passed, and he was out of his body for like 3 days, and he never left the hospital room. He had portals and stuff he could go if he wanted to, but he didn't. For some reason, he stayed. But when he was finishing, he said, "What can I do for humanity? Like, what can I do? What purpose? What repurpose can I have?" And they said, "Tell people to ask for help." That, and I never heard this before. He said, "You know, you think of the term master, and you have to master everything." He said, "No, you don't have to. Not anymore. You've got this whole team. Ask them for help." And you know, so going back to your example about time, it could be anything. Like you said, you know, this is how powerful we are. It's see, that's the type of thing to me that changes everything. People start thinking like that, and I guess they're going to start doing that based on the energy that we pulsate out, and also by seeing people, just seeing people, even if they don't know what they're looking at. You know, they just see the light.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've experienced that, like in the park.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I've had a couple of experiences here in Mexico this summer with babies, little kids. Yeah, and animals.
Mhm.
Yeah, big time. Like they'll just stop and go, or the kid will just like look at you, and you can
Mhm.
see, you know.
Yeah. Hmm. Children or babies, telepathic, and they communicate in light language as
Mm,
well. And they're often doing a lot of clearing and cleansing in the first couple of years of incarnation. And before that, actually, when they're in the womb, they're just setting things up because they still
yeah,
are there. They're
yeah,
not realizing they're actually constrained to a physical body.
true. Very true. What a wild realm we created. I mean, when you
Yeah.
think of when you think about it. I mean, do you feel like um I mean, if you look at the level of collective consciousness pre-COVID and you look
Mm,
at it now, you can see a huge difference.
that's a big
People
shift.
have, right?
Yeah.
You can see it. You can still see the BS out there, but my point is, um, it seems to be like the snowballs rolling down the mountain. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and people talk about a tipping point, and they talk about, and that's
Mm,
kind of what I'm looking for. Not you know, just not looking for in terms of, oh, I want this to happen,
mm,
because I know as soon as we get to the finish line, we're all going to be going, man, we should have slowed down. This was a great trip, you know, because we'll have the soul perspective. We won't be in all this pain and suffering. But do you feel like that we could hit this tipping point in these next couple of years? Do you, like, you know, people talk about a solar flash, and of course that's never come true, but more in the sense of a metaphor, like
mm.
light bulb turns on, and a, let's just say a strong enough minority of people or have coherence in that respect.
Yeah. There is going to be a 5 or 6 separate events around the world, quite likely, um, that will unknowingly assist in more alternative ways of being. So unconditional love kind of things. These events aren't necessarily going to be all doom and gloom, as they say, but there are going to be things that will be happening. They're saying they're almost like strategically placed around the world. I'm just seeing different threads and parts of the globe where these light sources are. Because when there's a lot of light in one place, and there are beings that emanate light, but it's not their own light. So these false beings, they'll react when there's a lot of light. So that will sort of cause a little semi-conflict, there'll be a lot of truth coming out as well, which will help the shift of consciousness. So
Mm,
more people be more aware, and there'll be a lot of people that will be surprised by how they feel after, because they'll be opening up more.
right.
So there are things that will be happening. I'm not quite sure what they are. These days, I rarely tune into world events. I'm aware
Right.
there's things going on. Um, One of them, I believe, will lead into um, a shift that will split up into different areas. It will be a bit unpleasant for maybe half a year, but then after that, that does seem to have sort of going like this. That's how it is, but it's more going up slowly, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Little shit.
Mm,
Kona te he kia ko so koi. Yeah, kona te ke tia na ha to sunna na te kia to ho no to ho sunna the dia to hai. I hope that makes a little bit of sense, but that's how it's coming in to me anyway.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, and I think that's another thing. That's what I was saying earlier when I was asking you one of the early questions is, the distortion is expanding,
mm,
but the individual is expanding. They're like
yes.
they're like a parallel,
Mhm.
and so it's becoming more and more obvious that there's a split, which is for me, I feel like it happens in me
Yes.
first, right?
Mhm.
And you go, that's not even real over there. I'm real. I can change time. I can, live 800 years. I can bilocate. I can teleport. This is the path I'm on.
Mhm.
That one over there is, it's running, but and that's what I'm saying. At some point, there's enough people over here that are solid on this path that becomes almost like like a memory, like it
Mm.
just kind of runs out of steam, unless maybe when people talk about a split Earth, they should talk about that all the time. It's going to split into two or three or four. It's funny how these go away
Yeah,
over time.
I would say that the split Earth would be different perspectives on Earth, so
Yeah,
different lenses. That
that would
kind of
that that makes sense. That makes
yeah,
sense. That totally makes sense. It's so interesting how it's all woven paradoxically, you know, like it's almost like with what you're saying, it's like kind of like a Tower of Babel. So you have all these different perspectives, and now it seems like they're coming down,
yeah.
coming down to where it's going to be, I guess, unity. Um,
Hmm.
but you know, this is, I would say too that the the perspective, the acceptance of uh, a mass awakening seems to be gaining ground. Like people are talking about it in all different streams of life.
Yeah. They're saying 4 years
4 years.
from now, there'll be well, there's going
Let's
to be
see.
a lot happening, but
Yeah. See, let me go back to my timeline thing they told me on the first. I think it was 2029. 2029. Uh, so that would be 18. Yeah, that's right. Wow. Wow, it's weird to have listened to what you were saying at the beginning. Then now I'm thinking back to the first and how I was seeing all that. It was very difficult. I was having to like make a list,
oh
and
yeah,
you know, and some start like when the 14 started. No, sorry. Yeah, when the 11 started, the 14 started, and it was just all these intricate.
yeah,
So hopefully that type of communication from our soul becoming more in fashion, so we can understand what's happening. Um,
yeah. And we can choose that as well. So As a suggestion, if it's okay, we could go on a little exercise to try
Yeah.
and choose a more preferred
Yeah.
reality, because
Yeah.
everything's how I see it, everything's happening now. So
Yeah. I'm
we could
with
take
you on
about
that.
5 to 7 minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah. Let's do it.
A little bit of water first.
Everybody want to join us? Uh, and I'm with you. I really feel like that. What my friend said the other day about asking for help, like it's really time to turn it, like something like this, like turn it on, like
Oh yeah,
it's, you know what I mean. Turn this on instead of the TV or the phone or
100%.
yeah. Turn this on. Turn this on. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just taking a few deep breaths and asking for permission from all those wonderful beings, those souls. And as always, we do things in accordance to divine cosmic sovereign law, and only allow those that emit and radiate, emanate their own 100% divine source, love and light to work with us here and now. And only those that are 100% aligned for helping us to move on to a higher preferred timeline of more love, light, peace, and divine flow. Kona ka kia ta kato sukunana. Te kia ta hato sukukana ta hakai. And you may repeat, I, the soul,
By the soul,
am fully receptive
fully receptive
and fully conductive
and fully conductive
to all
to all
the wonderful blessings
wonderful
and healing
blessings
energies for all of my bodies,
for all of my bodies,
past, present, and future, known and unknown.
past, present, and future.
And so it is, so be it. In
And
full
so it is.
faith,
So
with
be it.
thanks
In full faith.
and deep gratitude, it is done. And now just breathing now. Going into your preferred breathing pattern, be it rapid breathing, slow breathing, turtle breathing, or box breathing. Just follow your hearts. Allow your bodies to be. And just asking your higher soul, your oversoul consciousness, your I am, for help. If you want to be closer to your higher soul, your higher self, just ask. In accordance to divine cosmic sovereign law. Sunanataka, Dekiataha, Kakukuakahare, Dekiataha to Sukunganataha, Dekiataha Kukuakaha Dengana, De Diananataha Kangana Denganare, De Andanado Hokundana Denganatahai. Just clicking through the timelines. Kumbana Hakade Kia Kada Kikia Baha Mukuaka 8599441. Cornea asking for divine intervention to assist in any removal of any and all hitchhikers. Clapping your hands if you feel. 744-551-11559. They're saying now is the time to choose. Going in your heart and choosing. Sunia tokono no kunia toko, choosing more flow, more love, more light, ki, more health. Whatever it may be, choose. Kuna naha, allowing yourself to choose. Coding 7224451. Kumbanadi anganada hasukunanadi anganada hakanganadi anganada hokunganada anganada kana hakanganadi anganada kukuakaha. Kia dakananadi anganada hakosoi. And repeating if you wish. Yes, I, the soul, am fully receptive and conductive, and I easily assimilate and integrate all of the updates. I close, cancel, and undo any lower timelines. Sunaka, kedia dakada, to kakana, te kiadaka, tokoa kakiakai. Just taking a few deep breaths to integrate into ground, thanking Mother Earth, Pachamama Gaia, Tara, Future Earth, Sophia, all of the higher souls over souls, source consciousness. Ka kia tuku, do kangana de kia kai. I choose a more coherent timeline of unconditional love, light, truth, and flow. Su kua ke kia kai. Ke dia bana kanda daha doko ke kia kai. 8559-5511-441. We ask for peaceful and instant integration. Kona Danakai. We thank the mental body and emotional body, the ego, for allowing more integration of love and light, peace and wonder. Kana koso dohoso.
Nice. Thank you.
Very well.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And I think the other thing too that you're bringing through, and that more, well, because doing shows this year has been a lot different than before,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and people, I've always been able to see kind of the evolution, you know, like the current state of the union, or what energies we're heading into, or what people are coming into, you know, uh, through the sequence of the shows. This year's almost felt like it's the same show, just the person shapeshifted into the next person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what comes through with you, and I guess it's coming through more in all of us, is the, I don't know how to say this, but like the humanity, the 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 nuts and the bolts. Like I said to you, oh, you're always tapped in. He said, yeah, well, sometimes I'm not. You know, so if I'm not listening, or if I'm resisting, or, and I feel like that's kind of where we're at now. It's like we have this direct line. It's not really outside of us. It's us.
Yeah.
I know, like my conversations with the universe feel kind of funny this year, because I'll literally say, "Well, I'm talking to myself," you know.
Exactly.
But it's true. But like you identify the different layers, the different bodies, you know. I mean, so it's like that. What you're saying, that somebody, was it you saying the deja vu within the deja vu within the
Yeah.
deja vu, right? Or like Inception, like that movie, the dream
Yeah.
within the dream, the dream.
Yeah.
But you know, at the high end of that tesseract, or that whatever that is, that, you know, cosmic pyramid, or however that shape is you. That is the I am, right? And just as we can program our bodies, we can program our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so that's one thing I'm seeing, is I'm seeing people being more human. Not hiding, not ashamed of the human, bringing the human out front and center, and actually being transparent with themselves, and it's reflecting. So that's one. The other thing I'm seeing, and I've been seeing this since 20, 2022, maybe. Maybe it started in 2023, and that was practitioners, because most of the people that come on here do some type of healing work of some sort or another. Um, they were dropping modalities, or
Mm-hmm.
changing their processes, and so it's kind of like a reflection. But I'm noticing, even in my own right, I'm doing certain things I've never done before. I'm doing some things that I did when I first reawoke. Um, but it's like everything has to change now, kind of thing. Like if I look at the say the 12 years I spoke of, I was involved with this the whole time. So I was able to experience that. Um, and it's like every identity that we picked up in our awakening, like I was this in a past life, or I have this connection. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just saying it's not like a badge anymore. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's not like part of my identity in the human sense. You know what I mean? So like we're losing all these identities, and it's a bit painful. Um, and I feel like that's where the dialogue is. It's like, hey, I am the I am, but I'm also going through this shit. You know, and this is what it feels like, but that's transparency. If you tell me what happened, if I tell you what happened, and these are private affairs, these are things we've never talked about before, things that we've told people that came back to haunt us because we opened up and we were in a distorted realm at the time, and now it's changed. And the only way it's going to grow is for us to step into it and be brave,
Yeah.
you know? And we're so used to getting the shoe dropping on us that we're tentative to do it, but I don't see any other way. You know, it is what it is. And I've said it a lot on the show, you know, another way to say I'm soul is I show my ass, you know? I mean, you know, what's that old saying? The higher you go, the more your ass shows. So that's part of it. It's part of the duality. It's part of the human soul tandem experience.
Yeah. It's
Fear's a powerful thing.
yeah, it is. And well, one of the messages I had for myself is to transcend it, to
Hmm.
bypass it.
Hmm.
And also for many, in my case anyway, the more that I'm in my body, the more light I can bring in to Earth. And I believe we're all the same. So in this incarnation, I haven't been fully in my body. I'm still not fully in my body. I'm still
Okay.
getting used to my physical vessel. It's a bit uncomfortable at times, but
So
I'm getting
that's a
there.
that's a very good subject. I'd like for you to expand on it. Let me just kind of set it up. So what you're saying is the more we're in our body, the more light we can bring in.
Mhm.
Obviously, well, and I'm not, I just want to, I want to kind of understand what it's not to be in the body. Now, what I think it is with the people I've talked to and the people I've known on this show is they spend a lot of time out in the ethers, you
Mhm.
know, and and that's one of the things I was referring to actually when I said what I just said is we can't do that anymore. Like
Mhm.
there's no escapism here. You know,
Yeah.
that's part of the whole thing is to accept this as the
Mhm.
spirit flesh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and so what you're saying is the more the more human we are, the more
Yeah.
light that comes in, which there's that paradox
Exactly.
again. Was that
Yeah.
so is that how you see it? I mean,
Yeah, that's what they've been telling me for a while, and I only just started to listen.
hmm,
Yes. I'm lucky. The way that I work is a bit unique, you could
hmm,
say. So, but if I'm more in the body, the at the beginning when I used to work, it used to feel people used to say it's almost like they're getting a punch with a lot of energy. Now that I'm more in my body, it's smoother, easier to integrate, less purging. It's calling it body friendly, human friendly,
hmm,
kind of. And I naturally, as many of us, spend a lot of time in the ether because
hmm,
it's closer to home,
hmm,
basically. But also, Earth and our body is our home right now.
right.
And the acceptance of that will allow us to ground in more of these source codes. And that will help with the collective shift as well. Then each of us are physical pillars of light
Yeah.
on Earth, Mother Earth, Pachamama Gaia, Tara, Future Earth, Sophia. So the more and more we ground this energy and the more that we can play with it in unique ways, full of. And the, for example, in human ways, so for example, someone's giving an hour session or something. What they did in an hour, they'll be able to complete in 15 minutes, for example. I
Okay.
don't normally, when I give sessions, I don't put time in. I just intention and we do it, kind of thing. But that's how they wanted me to explain it. It's more efficient when we're down here because it's just coming streaming through. Because if we're more in the ether, then really ideally it would go through a kind of conduit and then it go to the person that's receiving that being, kind of thing. So it's like that. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. And if it's just the individual, it makes sense to me. It's kind of like this show. I've never, oh, I mean, I don't really ever meet anybody beforehand. I just say hi and we turn it on and it keeps it spontaneous, right? Like it's intuitive and spontaneous and creative. But that's kind of how I feel like I catch myself and I'll go, wow, it's almost like you're on automatic pilot. You're doing things innately and instinctively and naturally. It's a flow, I guess. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can feel it. Or sometimes music or dance
Mhm.
or other things can kind of bring it in. Um, but yeah, do you feel like that people that spend a lot of time in the ethers, say a lot of practitioners, do you feel like they're having a difficult time going into their body, or is it becoming something that's inevitable and we're being pushed that direction anyway? What are your thoughts on
I think
this?
it's different. Um, I know from experience a few years ago, I was almost addicted to being in the ether. It was like I loved it because just flying and all of the energy, and then my physical body, my vessel started to turn itself off, kind of thing. And then that's okay. They wanted me to come back in a body because they say that, well, you're here to have a human experience. This is why you've been given this body. So have it, because also I'm here to learn how to be a human, for example, experience unconditional love, joy, and be
Hmm.
free. That's one of my lessons for this incarnation as a soul thread from my soul, we could say. Um, and it has been an uncomfortable process to be more in the body before coming down to the physical. I chose to bring a lot of light in, which was almost not not experienced before, because the physical vessel can, and well, we're not physical beings really, we're light.
Hmm.
So a physical being, they say, can only hold so much light energy before it dissolves into light, kind of thing. So, but I was adamant, and this came with, they said it would come with challenges, and the challenge being is probably, I find it or found it very difficult, or as unable to communicate with other humans, or like many of us are saying, we find it very difficult to connect with others because what they're doing is bizarre.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so, and when we're in the ether, it just things feel like they're flowing. So it can be a little like, it's home. I want to be there. So coming back to the body, I'm still learning, but I know that recently I've shifted more in the body and that the energy that I bring down has become more effective. It was very effective before anyway. People might say they experience miracles, but that's their perspective. For me, it's normal,
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the energy that I'm bringing in now is smoother. That's what they're telling me. For the average person, the
Yeah.
average Joe, the expression they say to receive, for example. So in that way, I do believe that more and more people will be coming back to their body because I think it's a self-realization on the journey, like acceptance that we are in the human vessel.
Yeah.
right now.
It would make sense. It would make sense because if you look at the whole, I mean, I've done it. I joke about it, everyone that's come on the show is like, beam me up, Scotty, get me out of here. I'm
Yeah.
tired. I want to go
Hmm.
home. Um, but this to me, I mean, and I can relate to what you're saying a little bit differently for me. It's normally like through creativity,
I
like making things happen over, could be an evening, it could be a few weeks working on something, and I can see, there's that connection is there. Maybe that's being in the body, but that's kind of how I sense it. But and what you're talking about, I mean, it, this feels like, and I've had many people come on the show that transmit and channel and this and that, that this is like the most unique experience the universe has ever had because of
Oof.
the level of the physical density, even though it's light, the perception of this physical density, the way it feels, the way you move through it, gravity, whatever you want to call it. But it seems that it is very special, like extremely special, extremely rare. I mean, the first ever, whatever, um, and that it would be inevitable. Like it's bigger than all of us. It's happening. So let go or be dragged. And
Yeah.
if I could, it was interesting because the first 5 months of the year, nobody could explain what was going on. People would come on the show and say, "Well, something's going on, but I can't explain it." So it was like we came out on this other side, and we're like trying to get used to it. Like, how do you walk and how do you talk? But I think this is probably the best description for me anyway. Hearing what you're saying for this year is it's inevitable to come into the body in all ways. You know what I mean? Like it's beyond. I eat pretty healthy. I have a couple of bad habits, whatever, but it's kind of beyond that. It's the connection, it's the consciousness, it's the coherence. So it's weird because, like you said, the more present you are with yourself, the better your connection is. So you're still in the ethers. You actually get a better connection this way,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
and the other ways weren't
Stronger
bad.
antenna. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's really good advice. I mean, it's get back in your body. And I guess that creates, well, how do I do that? Well, that's how you do it. You got to get to know yourself. Like,
Get to know yourself. Breath work is very good.
mm,
Very good indeed. Um, Stretches, yoga, qigong,
mm,
things like this. Just the general um, hand on heart is
mm,
very. I do that a lot when I'm
mm,
walking. I just put my hand on my heart and around my solar plexus area as well, just to just tap my body, make sure I'm here, kind of thing.
yeah,
These little things, and thanking the body as well
yeah,
is good. So there's sometimes a body might carry some aches and pains, but you can actually ask for it to shift sometimes. So because how I see when we have aches and pains, that a lot of the time can be a trapped emotion from many years ago. It's just trying to get attention, and you
yeah,
go into it, and then you honor it, and then you release it, and then someone, if they had a chronic pain for 20 years, is gone. You honored that part that wants attention. Like children are fantastic. When they
yeah.
want attention, they'll let you know.
Oh, yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's right. I use that example a lot. I had six kids. So, you take a kid to the toy store and they'll say, "Hey, can I have this?" Real sweet. Come on. Or and then the next thing you know, they're in the middle of the aisle throwing a tantrum. Right. But this is how, and I think that's another part about being in your body is sitting with your demons,
yeah,
sitting with the things that you don't want to look at, that you don't want to admit about yourself. And, it seems like we're unraveling this whole idea of projecting our BS on other people. right? Like instead of because we're coming into an understanding that it's really about me, you know,
Mm.
it's about
Yeah.
me. It's got nothing to do with anybody else, no matter what it looks like. And I think that's something that people have been trying to get their arms around for the last few years. And so that's a big part of being in the body is
Yeah.
is you know, well, like what you're talking about with the physical body, some having something in the body that gets transformed, and I've seen that happen. It's happened with me. But many people have come on this show and they've had everything from an instant healing to like mine's been over a couple of years. My lower back was compressed for 30 years and now it's popping because I've been stretching. That you were
Yeah.
mentioning the stretching, and that was kind of a unconscious thing. I was like, why am I stretching all the time?
Yeah.
Well, my body's, you know, obviously making some choices.
Mhm.
But what do you feel like is the biggest challenge for people that have been awake through this time, like be it 2017, 2012. I know people going back to the 60s, in the 80s that had their wake ups, but like there's a lot of people that have been tuned in to what's going on and what's coming. And now that we've kind of found places to gather, um, that's yeah, I ask a lot of people, how does it feel to be at this time now that you've seen so far out, in the past you saw it. And it's some of the answers are pretty interesting. Um, but what do you think the biggest challenge is at this point? Just being in the body?
In my case, being in the body
Hmm.
and acknowledging that I'm not alone. There are more, there are others. Um, and now I've got,
Physical,
sorry?
physical, uh,
Yeah,
uh,
physical.
in the
Um,
physical and non-physical, I guess. Yeah.
so non-physical, I know. No, well, I can see them when I wish to turn on my clairvoyance, for example. So I'm never really alone.
Right.
But the allowing the old story inside from the unhealed aspect of self to let go of that story,
Yeah.
letting go of older stories. And they're also saying that there is no shame in being wrong as well. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. Like, allow it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And now ko niki di hia do ko kana da ha ka ke da ka da ka ha dai. And perhaps another challenge is letting go of expectation as well.
Yeah.
If these wonderful beings that have been around, awake, seeing what's going to happen, sometimes accidentally can attach themselves to a bit of expectation,
Yeah.
and
Color
it can be a
flash.
bit different. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it's like we let go of all the traumas.
Mm.
So we let go of the past having a hold on us. Then we go through this as we go through this experience, and then we started to attach to narratives.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes things are, they're serving you until you get to another level, and then it's not the same thing anymore. There's a higher
Mhm.
truth. There's a higher consciousness.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's big stuff that you're talking about, and it's very human.
Yeah.
And I had somebody ask me the other day, why do you do this? Why do you do this? And I've thought about it before, but I think what they were saying there, how do you talk to all different types of people? You're able to talk to all these different types of people. And I said, I don't know. I just know that when I go in, I'm not perfect. I'm just saying, like as time's gone on, I've learned to go in because I see it as a microcosm of life. So if I go into a situation where I know I might learn something, number one, number two, I have to be open to being wrong, you know, and
Mhm.
to me, this being in the body and functioning in a balanced way is about openness. 100% open. I'm not just open to the things that make me feel good, but I'm open to the things that might make me feel bad or stupid or embarrassed, which is just a form of shame, right? Um, but yeah, that openness, it's very humbling too. And it when you're humbled in front of people, that's also humbling, you know. Like Todd just got his ass handed to him. Did you see that? Well, I mean, but this is that transparency that seems to be coming online. Oh, when you get down to it, it would just make sense. It'll make your life easier, all of us.
So much easier. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I woke up, so it's 2011. I spent a couple years on the streets by my own choice, and the lessons were coming in, and they told me one night, they said, "You need to understand that everybody's going to know everything about you, period."
Mm.
And I said, "Are you serious?" And they're looking at me going, "Well, we already do. We know you're a wild ass. We know all the things you've done. We know all the good you've done, but everyone's going to know everything about everybody." And then I went, "Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. As long as everyone knows everything about everybody, it's not just me." But the point is that I kind of see that coming online now because this year I've seen like what I would call like a higher telepathy. Like
Mhm.
there's another set of dynamics now in the communication field, both to our teams, but also with each other. You know, um, Sometimes when I'm doing shows this year, I'll feel with a couple of two, three people, I'll feel like almost like a nauseous, like I'm going to throw up kind of thing 30 minutes before the show. And it took me a while to figure out, oh, we're already, coming together here.
Mhm.
So who is your team, would you say? Are they
Mm.
personal guides or do you see them as other archetypal figures or iconic figures? Anyone that we might be familiar with, I guess.
There are a lot of the unknown, so pre-split basically from there. I do channel my oversoul
Mm,
as well, and there's a lot of non-physical beings that haven't been physical many times or ever right now.
mm,
Um, so yeah, there are a lot of light beings, we could say, from original source, and they are waiting for me to. I don't call them in; they wait for permission to come. So when I say I only allow those that emit and radiate their own 100% divine source, love and light, it's very important because there are lots of beings that may be full light beings, but they haven't, it's not their own light. They've borrowed it from other beings and things
mm.
like this. So they're a mix of the original source consciousness, dragon, we could say as well,
Yeah, yeah,
creators, things like these. And when I'm connecting, when I'm working with others, their original source team are the ones that are coming through, if that makes sense.
yeah. No, that makes
And
sense.
yeah, that's
That
basically
makes
how I got.
sense, and it kind of confirms something for me too, because again, having interacted with a lot of people over the years, and I've heard many, light languages, channelings, transmissions, whatever. Um, and then I have my own experiences,
Mhm.
and I have a curious mind, number one, and number two, I question everything,
Mhm.
and so I've had these conversations with people, and I've said, "Who are you talking to?" And I think it's, I mean, the you, me, we, and it, you could say that's who I'm talking to. But there are there are certain makeups, compositions in the ethers. And I like your description because I have learned early on that some of them have certain proclivities, certain favored things. They're pushing you to go do this, go do this, go do this. And it's not that they're dark beings. It's not that they're not well intended, but they're not pure source. They're not
Hmm.
100% of their own light.
Yeah.
And I understand that these are aspects of us. And there's all this relationship that might be too much for us to comprehend, for a while, but we'll figure it out. But my point is, I've seen it. I've seen evidence of it with people, and I see it as a hindrance, a limitation. And that's why I was saying earlier, or I don't know if I asked you, but I was saying something seems different now. It seems like we're having to drop
Hmm.
everything but what we came in with.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about the babies clearing, and um, but yeah, I think that's something that should be talked about more.
Mm.
You know, I mean, it's not going to hurt us.
Exactly.
It's how this thing operates that keeps wanting us to step into the unknown. That's what I've always heard. I'd always say, well, what do I do with all this information? They'd say, well, whatever you do, don't do anything that's been done before.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, well, that's why you got to go figure it out.
Mhm.
You got to get creative. Um, but yeah, I think that's important. I really do. I really do. To be able to get into a space of openness and faith, you know, and reverence and say, who are you? And my experience has always been they have to tell you.
Yeah,
They
that's
have to
true.
tell you who they are. Some way or another. It may not be words, but they're what I'm talking about. Like for me, my biggest experiences always involve golden white light. Like in the room. Like the room would just go woo. And so it doesn't always have words, but sometimes it does, but I know, like whatever the sub, like if we were talking right now, and it's happening, which it is.
Mhm.
So then I know, hey, we're in the truth frequency range, or something to that effect. Yeah, man, that was a fast hour and a half. That
Oh
was
yeah,
really.
it's
I
been
feel like
lovely.
we just talked like 10 minutes.
Time flies when we're having fun.
I
I
know. We should do this again if you're comfortable with it.
would love to.
Would
Yeah.
you? Yeah, I've been doing kind of getting into some, having people come back, two, three, four, 5 times and really getting deeper rather than waiting 3 months or
Mhm.
but like coming back
Um,
in the next week or two. But I'll
oh,
reach out
I'm
to
honored.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you'd love to. I mean, I'd
I
love for
wouldn't
you
be.
to do it. And
All
I really feel good that this is 9/11. Um, I feel like there's some balance that an equilibrium that's been brought into the field. So I'm very grateful for that and having this experience with you today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I have a bit more language to come in, just to
absolutely.
close. That's okay.
I'm in no rush, by the way. You can
All
take how
right, cool.
long you want.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, just taking a few deep breaths. And they're saying the intention is stabilization. Sukukia to allow deeper integration. Ka katakana te kia to. To kan kia to hokokana tahana. Te tia taha to so. Sukua kata kikia. Kada ke te kia taha to. Domana de he kia. Kono he overriding. Older fragments. Kade key 8554 001 771 33445 1188 992. Allow. Activate. I'm blessed. Ka tono, toni atakai. Te kia te ka tono ho remembrance. Corner of one's own divinity. Kado of self. Kade kia. To kona tindia to kantana te ki. Kado kodos. Just a deep breath. So koso.
Yeah, I'm just going over that too. Like I was seeing things, but
Yeah.
it was like almost like a replay.
Mm-hmm.
But like the way that you break it down, first of all, the pre-split, that
Yeah.
explains a lot. So pre-split and then post-split.
Mm-hmm.
And I would
Yeah.
say, okay, here we go. So I would say the post-split beings are the ones that you were talking about. They had their light, but they have some of their light's not their light, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't take anything away. It's just another, uh, it's another experience on the road to 100% of your power, your sovereignty, your love.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? Because I remember them like coming in a Lionsgate years ago, bunch of them, and they said we're going to put I think it was like a third ring of protection around you because you're about to go into this is when I hit the road with Soulogy, just with a suitcase and a microphone. Um, but they said your protection, so to speak. And I've always felt like I don't do protection. My field is my protection. It
Mm-hmm.
speaks for itself, kind of thing. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. But they said, you're going to be going through some stuff. So we need to be with you. You need to know that I'm with you. We're with you. And they said, but our protection is only as strong as your own faith in yourself. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, whoa, okay, then we're okay. Thank you for showing me because that's my strong suit, if I have one. But yeah, I like the way you explain that. It's because I think, and we've discussed this on the show. We know it's not hierarchical, but there is a there are levels, there are robes, you know what I mean? And that's a real thing. I mean, and I assume that it's probably earned through experience because just like here, you can tell me whatever you want, and I can tell you whatever I want, but I'm not going to learn it until I go through it.
Yeah.
Maybe you give me some good advice and I make a good choice or a better choice. But yeah, this is powerful. It really, really uplifted me. And I did a little human last night, and uh, it's okay. Everything's all right. And that's the thing. It's a it's a beautiful planet, and it's a beautiful time. And I'm happy to have met you, and I look forward to collaborating with you again.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm so happy to meet you again.
Yeah.
This time
Same.
in the physical.
Yeah. 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 I'll see you soon.